Greetings from the swamps. This review is brought to you by Pink Lemonade in a Prego Chunky Garden Combo Jar. Tasty. Today we'll be taking a look at the much looked over Marvel Legends Nemesis series first appearance, Daredevil. With a fresh scent. Old Matty Poo here is probably one of my top 10 favorite characters as a kid. So when I saw this guy in the stores, I knew I had to pick him up. So let's take a closer look at the man with no fear. First things first, a head can make it or break it for me with a figure. The Devil's is done to perfection with the amount of detail they put into it. He has such a mysterious, menacing face, exhibiting so much character, with the muscle definitions popping out. Adding to that, the fact that there are bunches on top and back of the head, and the subtle bulges for the ears, makes it feel like there's really a man wearing a mask. Even though there is no shading, the mold has the right amount of depth that gives off its own shadowing in the right light. The only thing I can really knock it for is you can see where the screws were, which carries on throughout the figure, but it's a little thing. As well as, I wish the eyes were a brighter red. His head can move up and down to a large degree, and the joint they use makes it perfect for giving him a great pose when moving it side to side. When you hit his neck, though it has nice definition, the huge lines where the two halves of the mold meet really kills it for me. I wish they would have put a little more time into the construction. Moving on to the chest, he has the iconic double D's, insert joke here, done in the darker red against the dark brown. Although it doesn't pop, I think it works and evokes the original artwork for Mr. Murdoch. One thing you will notice is the muscle tone throughout the entire figure is expertly crafted and is very asymmetrical, which gives it a realistic feel. Turning him over, you can see the little things like where the costume is stretched going across the back, which is also something that carries through the entire figure, and I dig that a lot. His arms have the typical shoulder joint, allowing a full degree of rotation at the shoulder and upper bicep, as well as going in and out. Double jointed elbows, which for him, I am glad they included. When you look at the gloves, you can see the red dots. While not popping out, it's still a nice detail. His wrist has a full 360 degree of movement, as well as can bend back and forth, with his left hand being a closed fist and his right being open to hold his billy clubs. He also has an ab crunch and his waist can move a full rotation, but the way it's molded looks ridiculous when you do so. I think I would have preferred the more ball jointed waist like some of the other Legends figures have. His belt is very simplistic, but what else would you expect? I do like how below the belt it gives that bunched up feel. His legs can move in and out and has a full swivel at the upper hip as well as the upper thigh, the typical leg joint. On his left thigh is where the holster is for his billy clubs, and although it has a nice molded detail, the color leaves a lot to be desired. I wish they would have made it the same red as the rest of the figure, or at least give it a paint wash over it. It just feels like they got lazy. He has double jointed knees, which are perfect for Daredevil when you're trying to pose him trolling through Hell's Kitchen. The boots have the same red dot detailing as the gloves, and are bunched up nicely, hiding the joint at the ankle, which has a full swivel and can bend up and down. They even put detailing on the bottom of the boot, which is unnecessary, but is a nice addition. I just wish they would have put peg holes at the bottom for displaying purposes. The billy clubs themselves are lame, so what I've done is taken the white cord off and put the metal wire connecting the two together. I used Christmas tree ornament hooks that you can buy anywhere for $1, and you get 50 of them in various sizes. So that when you're posing them, you can actually pose the billy clubs themselves, and it gives them a better look on your shelf. And they work out great when you're trying to pose somebody jumping through the air or flying. If you simply wrap it around a thumbtack and push it up on top of a shelf, you can even have a heavier figure like Legendary Rider Series Thing, and as you can see, you can knock him around and he's not going to fall. Plus, it doesn't look too obtrusive when you're trying to make a nice display. The only other piece he came with is the lower torso for Nemesis Build-A-Figure. If you're a fan of Daredevil at all, I would say pick him up. I know they released a red variant of him, but there's better versions of him in a red costume out there. For a first appearance, he's very nicely detailed and extremely posable, which is a win-win in my book. Marvel Legends' first appearance is Daredevil, jacking his way to your heart.